and cutting that abdominal musculature also off the costal arch. To expose the massive rumen. All this is rumen occupying the entire left-hand side of the abdomen and flapping the ribs up. What we can see is adjacent to the diaphragm, the reticulum. Attached to the rumen, we can demonstrate the greater omentum. That is, and what we can in fact do is show the omentum there, and we can actually cut the omentum off its origin on the rumen. Remember that in the simple mammalian stomach, this greater omentum is originating from greater curvature. It is originating in the ruminant on the equivalent bit of greater curvature. We can now look at a bit more detail of the left-hand aspect of the animal. If we flap the rib cage away to expose again the cut edge of the diaphragm, and to expose in its entirety the reticulum. With the rib cage out the way, what we can also demonstrate is this greater omentum originating from the left-hand side of the rumen and running all the way round the rumen to the right-hand side of the animal, and that greater omentum taking its origin not only from rumen but also from greater curvature of the abomasum. It just illustrates how big this greater omentum is in the ruminant. And having taken that greater omentum off, we can now see the rumen in its entirety. We can also see the spleen attached by a very much shorter gastrosplenic ligament to this craniodorsal part of the rumen. And what in the horse and dog, remember we had a very long gastrosplenic ligament. In the ruminant, it's this much shorter ligament attaching the spleen to the surface of the rumen. There we go. If we just put the diaphragm back in place, let's have a quick look at thoracic content. Left lung, again flapping the left lung up, we can see the heart and the pericardium, the left phrenic nerve, and again, if we incise through the pericardium, we can see the heart and the apex of the heart, which we've partially removed, which we've transected. Removing the lung, what we can see now very clearly is again the esophagus, dorsal branch of the vagus nerve on the dorsal aspect of the esophagus, ventral branch of the vagus nerve is on the ventral aspect of the esophagus. Again, we can see sympathetic chain fibers and ganglia, and particularly what we can see on the left-hand side is the aorta, is the arch of the aorta coming out of left-hand side of the heart and running below the vertebral bodies.